Hi, I'm Shane from Admin Arsenal. We're going to cover scheduling deployments today. We're going to work with a couple of different packages and a couple of different use cases. So we have just deployed VLC out using deploy once to 4 computers. Now let's say we want to schedule that. Simply select that package that you want and go to New Schedule. If there's existing schedules, you could also attach it to an existing schedule. In this case, we'll do a new one. And we'll just call this one VLC. Now, when you set up a schedule, you have to define what triggers you want. This is usually something like run it once a day, meaning every day, in this case at 3 p.m. You can obviously modify that time. Weekly is very popular. When I say weekly, you get to actually choose the days of the week that it will run, including just weekdays. Maybe we just want to do weekdays, and then we'll delete that every day. All right. And once again, there's your starting time. 3 o'clock. We'll just change that for now to 4. Perfect. And you can do multiple triggers. We'll cover heartbeat, which is very popular, in another video. Now you must choose your targets. This means every time this schedule kicks off, it's going to go to these targets. Well, there are different ways you can do it. You can hit choose targets and choose your target computers, but for something like an application, you don't want to push this application out to the same computers over and over. That's why choosing targets may not be the best way to go. When you're doing schedules, consider doing something like link to. It has a little bit more intelligence. I'm going to link to a PDQ inventory collection. And this collection, I've got a lot of collections here. I'm just going to type in VLC for the filter. In the collection library, if you have access to that, there's actually some collections for VLC, including VLC old. These are all the machines that have an older version of VLC. So I'm going to link to that collection. I'm not going to choose any targets because every time the schedule is run, I want it to deploy to all the computers that are in this collection that have an old version of VLC, and that will change. If I did choose targets, I'd actually have to specify those computer names. In the options, you can use PDQ inventory scan credentials if you want. That's really only applicable if your targets require different credentials to successfully deploy. We want to stop deploying, in this case, to targets once they succeed. So in the event that there's a computer that gets deployed to twice, we don't want to push successfully. We don't want to push this again. There are times where you want to have that unchecked. You can see the other options, and then there's some offline settings. We won't go too deep into those right now. Perfect. Now, if I go to my VLC package under the Schedules tab, I'll see that. You can also go to All Schedules, and you can see that. That means it's going to kick off in 1 hour and 43 minutes. If you want, you can simply right-click and say Start the schedule now if you really want. Otherwise, it will kick off at that time. Go ahead and say just deploy all attached packages, in this case VLC. And you can see that these deployments have now kicked off. There's 5 computers in that collection. That's scheduling in a nutshell. There's other ways to schedule, including using auto deployments, and I mentioned heartbeat, and we'll cover that in a later video. Thanks.